perfect is actually a very good word. It's like a more complete, rounded explanation. Also means a verb to get to perfection, in other words, to complete. In other words, it has a meaning that it's an action that had a beginning and came to the very end. In other words, it was a process. When Christ came here, he was perfect because he is the Son of God. But yet, he completed his mission. And he did not relent until it was completely finished. And he had a fire in him to complete that mission. Remember when he prayed, he says, "Oh, how it burns in me to complete this." His last words were on the cross. What did he say? He said, "It is finished." Which means he was waiting for something to complete, of course. And that perfection wasn't perfect until it was perfected. Completed. Perfected. He may as well have said, "It is now perfect." And isn't that what God said when he created this earth and this world? And he said, "Good." And he rested. And he wouldn't rest until he perfected everything he wanted to perfect. The faith that we have received is perfect. It's perfect for everyone to get you to the end. Because the perfection is in the cross. And there's nothing more perfect than that sacrifice. There is no other perfect sacrifice than the Lamb of God. He is perfect. All other sacrifices are not perfect. That's why people had to keep on bringing new sacrifices again and again. But the only one that ends all sacrifices is the perfect sacrifice, which is Christ with his own body and his own blood. And that is the basis of our faith. It's perfect. You don't need to add anything to it. The words that we have heard about being crucified on the cross and being resurrected is a perfect message for any one of us to be perfected all the way to the end. But that's only the beginning. It needs to be perfected to the end. Those who are holy should be sanctified. And those who are born perfect, they need to be perfected or grow in perfection until adulthood. Just like a child is born perfect, it must grow. Any child that is born healthy is perfect. But yet it must grow, and if it doesn't, it is not right. It is sick. It is not right. And how do we grow? How did Christ perfect his mission? Isn't it in the word itself? Isn't the answer in the question? He completed it. He did things. He completed what he came for. He knew his mission, and he wanted to complete it. When Paul received the word of Christ, and Christ said, "You will suffer much for me," and he did, and he was content, and he said, "I am now waiting." His perfection was completed. What if all these men did not do what they had to do? The perfection that they received would have been taken away from them. The parable of the talents. The person who received a perfect talent, that was taken away from him because he did not grow it. We all have received a perfect faith. That faith works, but we must complete it until the end, so that this faith is not only in our heads and not only in our tongue, but so that it's in action and power and boldness. We have been called to be perfect. And when you say, "I am perfect," to someone else who is listening, you should have some examples. What if we do not make ourselves perfect in our understanding, but also in our living, in our life, then this will be taken away from us. This faith will be taken away from us. Why do you think people who've been in faith for 40 years fall away? Because it's been taken away from them. They did not make what they know their life. And that knowledge just became empty. Because their life and their actions contradict what they know. There comes a time where God says enough. And He takes away what He gave you. Perfection He gave us. We didn't earn it. We just received it by the word, that you are now perfect, all of you. Because you know the perfect teaching. You know you have a perfect sacrifice already given for your sake. You've been bought out. You've been paid a price. And you now belong to God. That's happened. Now comes your turn. Now comes my turn. Each one of our turns. To be perfected in this faith unto the end. How does that happen? We've talked about that already. Starting with little things in our life. Act only by the truth. Act as if you are perfect. Because you are. There are so many opportunities every day to act perfect by my faith. Act according to your faith, which is perfect, and you will be perfect. And once we complete our mission, then we can rest on our laurels. Is it a contradictory word? If it doesn't happen, yes, it's contradictory to those who only preach but don't practice. Even in this world, people know practice makes perfect. We've been talking about this so much. Simply reading a topic doesn't make you an expert in it. You gotta do it. You gotta try executing whatever you just read. How does it work in your life? That will make it perfect. Your knowledge will become perfect